Welcome back to Cosmic Confessions. I'm your host, CrashLit, and today I'm super excited to be joined by Glow Mojis pitcher, Neil Lang. Neil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just enjoying another midweek day off and getting ready for our big July 4th weekend.
Absolutely. And what's got you really excited about that weekend, just since you just bring that up right there off the bat, Neil?
I mean, off the top of my head, just being in Buffalo, close to Niagara Falls, I already saw some of the guys already made a trip up there. I'm hoping I can find a little bit of time to see that. But on the baseball side, Buffalo is, I believe, our biggest ballpark we go to in regards to attendance. So I'm excited to see that place packed out and maybe give us a little taste of what next year could be like.
Absolutely. I think it really can show just what it's really going to show us, I think, what the potential for cosmic baseball is, just not just this year, but just going into the future too. And before we get any further into this interview with Neil, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, all the audio sites. You can also watch the video version of this podcast on my YouTube page. So subscribe to me there at CrashLit and show Neil some love on the gram. Follow him at Neil.Lang_ so you can see all the latest stuff from one of the lefties on the Glow Mojis pitching staff. So Neil, I do want to just ask you, just like, what's really, you've had a really unique journey just in baseball, and just what got you into it to start?
Yeah, so interesting story. It's all just fate chances. I was at Concordia in Irvine, which is your area, and it was a D2, and I had a really good year, and we played Academy of the Arts, and I believe I one hit them or something. I just had one of those nights that was special, and the coach of Academy of the Arts happened to be manager in the summer of a indy ball team, and he told my coach to reach out to him if I didn't get drafted. So, not knowing much about indy ball, I hit him up when my season ended, and he said he didn't have a spot for me, but he put me in connection with some people, got me into my first league, and then I spent the next 2 seasons in Northern California, which is where I'm from, doing a league called the Pacific Association, which was the team he managed. So that was my foot in the door, and luckily I got to live at home and do that for both summers because I at that time of my life, if I didn't have that opportunity, I would have been done right there. And I learned about indie ball. I learned about the other leagues, and that's led to 6 full seasons, 7 if you count COVID. Um, and which opened the door for more opportunities, and now I'm here. So yeah, it was a long road, and it was all just kind of just fate connections.
You joined Banana Ball in 2025, and I just want to ask you about that season last year. Just how doing, your first like exposure to entertainment baseball, and just how that season prepared you to take that step into cosmic baseball for this 2026 season that you're currently taking part in.
Yeah, there is a learning curve switching to entertainment baseball, and a lot of it has to do with um, the the letting go of possibly how you're doing on the field, or putting all your marbles into your performance, and understanding that this is about having fun, spreading joy, having a good time with the fans. And at the end of the day, even if you do bad, you're going to go out after the game, and the same amount of people are going to want autographs, and you're going to have to make them happy. And that's just part of it. So I think a lot of guys, when they first transition, they still want to do the best, do the best. And there's a huge level of relaxation that comes once you understand that I just need to have as much fun as possible while I'm on the field. And that last season definitely prepared us for that. They threw us right into our first game was at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, so we hit the ground running, and I was thrown into it. And yeah, there's a learning curve, but I feel like I've adapted well for this second season, and I feel a little bit ahead of where I see some of the rookies.
And what drew you to cosmic baseball for this season, and just how has that experience been different from Banana Ball?
Yeah, so Ray Ortega he's responsible for my last 3 jobs in baseball. I played for him during the COVID season, and I pitched well for him, and he's remembered that, and he got me my last job in the Atlantic League. He was the third base coach for the Bananas the year I was in the Atlantic League, and so last December, I get a phone call from him, and he says, "Hey, I just got this job in Cosmic. I don't know if you've heard of Cosmic. You need to look into it." I had a couple good conversations with Jason, and I saw it on social media, and I said, "This looks really, really cool. I want to be a part of it." It's still in the growth stage too, so a chance to get in early, and yeah, I'm extremely grateful I did. It's been a great time so far.
You mentioned that Ray Sensei Ortega, your current head coach with the Glow Mojis, and just the relationship you've had with him over the years. Can you talk about just how you guys kind of picked up from where you guys left off, I guess, in Banana Ball, just in the sense of just having that familiarity with each other, and just how, even just from a playing standpoint, he still trusts you with the ball in your hand, to start, I think, to typically, start every week.
Yeah, so the trust was built when he was looking at me. I was in the Pioneer League. This is after I pitched for him. I was in the Pioneer League and I was trying to get to his team in the Atlantic League. And so he was always following along with my seasons, waiting for an opportunity to try to get me there. And in indie ball, Atlantic Leagues where you ultimately want to end up. So that was my goal, and he was always trying to get me there. And just him following along with how I was doing. Um, Gave him the trust to tell the Bananas organization about me and got me a tryout, a relatively private trial. There's only around 12 guys there, and that's what that private look got me that opportunity. And then he followed along last year and saw how well I was doing. So I think it was a safe bet for him, needing a guy that, especially in this league, to throw strikes. Um, if the one thing I do have on my resume is a long history of throwing strikes. So I think he knew if he brought me in, even if I was the worst guy, that he'd be in a good spot.
And while you do typically start the day game, you have had a few outings out under the black lights, playing with your jersey, reacting to the UV. What has
Yes.
that experience? What has it been like playing under black lights, which is ultimately the big thing of cosmic baseball that makes it really stand out from Banana Ball?
Visually, it's an amazing experience to look out and see all the different colors. Uh, I haven't quite figured out why yet, but it is a little harder to throw strikes. And I trust my mechanics. I trust the repetition. I trust that I can put the ball over the plate, but hitting that spot exactly where you want it. I mean, sometimes the ball is going not where you want it, and you're like, I don't really know what my adjustment is because I am in the dark here. But for the most part, just falling back on the repetitiveness of all the practice you put in, and the whole point of Cosmic is to try to just execute pitches in that moment. That's when the fans are the loudest. That's when they're going the craziest. That's when there's the most going on as far as music and stuff. So there's a lot of distractions. I will say that, but it's special. Especially I put on my glow smile, so I have whitening strips that I'm able to make UV reactive, and when I go out there, I try to just hold a smile as big as I can, even throughout the whole pitch. And through release, it's kind of hard, but I do my best.
You also mentioned the music, which really does get cranked up during Cosmic, especially just how much fans are really being encouraged to scream, be loud, the music. We have the loud segment where Jason's really just trying to get the crowd to, wake up the whole city pretty much. So
Right.
you have that and just all the music going on, and you mentioned that. So I want to ask, what's it like just pitch or just playing with just music going on, not just, between at bats and for the hitter's walk up song, and while you're warming up.
You have to dive into it. You have to rock with the music. You have to feel the moment, and that allows you to be more relaxed and just enjoy it. It's interesting. The more you enjoy it in entertainment baseball, the better the outcome seems to be. As soon as you try to, if you take it serious, you're doing something different than what the environment is giving you. So you have to really kind of be one with the environment, and the environment is loud music and having a good time. So have a good time, and that normally gets the result.
Near the end of the tour, we go to California twice, so to Fresno and then Sacramento. You being a California native, what's that going to mean for you to get to be back in your home state, getting to pitch?
Yeah, I have not played a game. I was in Anaheim last year. My family got to see me pitch, but I have not played a game in Northern California in maybe 7 years. So that's going to be a huge homecoming for me. I'm extremely excited. I'm asking the boys to give me some tickets, but unfortunately, there's some other players that's their homecoming too. So it's going to be a fight for tickets. But as many people as I can get in there, I'm going to try. And we only play one game, so hopefully I get the start. Hopefully I get some innings. That's my main focus in Sacramento at least. And then I've played youth games, summer ball games at the ballpark in Fresno. So that's gonna be nostalgic for me.
Absolutely. I think there are actually now two games on the schedule for both Fresno and Sacramento. So
Really?
probably going to
Let's
get that in
go.
based on the according to the website. I've been looking at that since I also have family in both those who want to come. So just
Yeah.
well, so you should you probably should get an opportunity to play, but that's
Yeah.
obviously not my call since I'm not Sensei.
Right.
But
Right.
just
Right.
want to ask you, you talked about just, really getting to have a homecoming, a lot of your family. What's your family just meant to you just as you've been on this journey, just both through just your whole baseball career ever since you just kind of really left home and just have been pursuing this?
Endless support. I don't expect them, especially when I was playing indie ball. I would never expect them to watch games I wasn't playing in, but they would always text me everything. I mean, everyone watches every game. My grandpa loves that I kept playing. He loves watching it. He tunes in. He's texting me when am I pitching next? He texts me every week. This week still asking me what innings I'm gonna throw. And then my parents, especially in indie ball, even just letting me, in the 4 month off season, if I need a place to stay with them, so I don't have to sign a lease anywhere, and can get a job and save some money on the side. That support in itself has just been everything I needed. And then just having the okay from them to, hey, keep playing, keep pursuing this, especially in indie ball where the goal is to try to get signed. Having the support of them just saying, hey, if this is your dream, go after it. And then, you know, having it ultimately lead to something, being last year getting the pitch in all the stadiums I've ever dreamed in, and then this year getting to be a part of Cosmic and watch it grow and be a part of something so special. I'm glad that they encouraged me to chase it, because I'm happy with where it ended up.
And you talked about just now getting to play with Cosmic, help build it up, getting engaged fans, and really impact a lot of people, especially little kids who really just are looking up to not just you, but everyone in the organization, especially the players. Just what does it meant to you to just be able to engage fans and just have people be like, Neil, can I get an autograph? Can I get a photo? Like just having people just come up and just want to really, interact with you.
Yeah, you have to pinch yourself every once in a while, because it was always a part of the original dream, and then to be sitting there watching it all happen, and too many autographs to count, and you're sitting there to the point where you're like, gosh, I've signed too much, I need to go inside today. And that's a everyday occurrence. And that's something that you ultimately take for granted, because in the moment you've been out there for 30 minutes, you're sweating, whatever. But in hindsight, I mean, how long Unc comes into the clubhouse and says all the time, there's gonna be a day where no one wants you to sign anything. So you try to take it for what it is and appreciate all those moments, and then getting to see, just doing the smallest thing for a fan, and watching their reaction, seeing how happy they get, and it's such a rewarding feeling.
Are there any just interactions with fans at all that really just stand out to you? Ones that you just will never forget?
The ones that stand out to me are for sure when people come up to me and they remember something from whether they went to a Cosmic game early in the season or they went to a game last year, and they remember my name and they remember the conversation we had, and they bring it up to me, and it reminds me of the impacts that we have in these little conversations. um, but yeah, there's a couple, as Cosmic's starting to develop some super fans on their own. Some of the conversations I've had have just been kind of eye opening to me.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like we do have start to see a few handful of, I guess, regulars who've come to multiple stops that even I've interacted with a couple of times. They're always asking for photos. It's really cool to see them, remember like all you guys and post about you guys on their social media pages. So it's really cool to like see just how just much you guys really are impacting them. And I think it's, at least from what I see, just having, when I'm out there keeping an eye on things, just really just the impact you guys are having. So for me, that's really cool to see.
Right.
And for you, what's the most rewarding part of just specifically being a part of the Glow Mojis? Well, I know you talked about entertainment baseball. It's everything's about, engaging the fans and, interacting with them. But still, there's no denying that when it actually comes game time, it's definitely a competitive product on the field, and you guys are definitely going at it. So what's it like to be a part of that just Glow Moji team, those other 24 guys that you play with?
Yeah, it's, we started off the year figuring out who we were, and we had to have some hard discussions early in the season. We had to call some team meetings, with how are we as a team going to go about our business. And then somewhere where it seemed like everyone's confidence went up. We started having a lot more fun on the sidelines. Guys were a lot less frustrated when they got a bad result, and everything's just meshed into. Oh, I mean, ultimately, what we just win 7 games in a row, and
Yeah,
before
7 in a
dropping that
row.
last. So I mean, the results are there, and it's a byproduct of the chemistry that we've built on this team. So it's special.
I'd for sure say that because, yeah, it was 7 in a row. And for a minute before that streak, the Peppers were up 17-9 on the season. That gap is now closed to 18-16. You get Glow Emojis are down 2 now. And it just shows, it looked like for a sec, I mean, anyone who was keeping track, like I was, thought that the
Yeah,
Peppers might run away with it. But you guys,
it, wa-
something clicked
it
after
was looking like.
Norfolk, and something clicked after Norfolk, and you guys just are now on a 7-1 run on them.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a long season for us. And I've been a part of teams that are I've been a part of teams that drop most of the games they play, and it by July, by August, you're just defeated. So the fact that we were able to stop the bleeding, turn it around, and then go on the run like we just went on, and now, even though we dropped that last game, our confidence is still up. I think it took a lot for the Chili Peppers to beat us that night, and we'll see what happens in the near future. But the fact that we're about halfway done with season and only 2 games back, that's what makes Cosmic fun, is that no one knows who's going to win any night.
Absolutely. And you talk about just those seasons where just, things are, looking a lot more dire, and just, being able to, go from that. How have just either past experience, either not getting the job done in the sense of, kind of, pulling it together, as well as, or whether you pulled it together or not, just, helped kind of, you guys just in this one. Cause I'm sure you're not the only player who's had that sort of experience of just, kind of falling apart by halftime, and just, season could be, either done or you guys got to, figure it out.
Yeah, I've been a part of a total rebuild. I spent 3 years in Sioux Falls, and our first year we were 20 games under 500, and the second year we were about 500, and my third year we were the best team in our division. And so I saw firsthand what the chemistry and what the clubhouse vibes are like on a losing team, on a mediocre team, and then eventually on a good team. So when we were calling those meetings this year, early in the year, um, I would voice my opinion to some of the guys of, hey, don't care too much about this or that. We kind of just have to stay up. We have to be, we have to be boys, and ultimately the results will be there. Just don't get caught up in some of the certain things that in my opinion, I felt some of the teams I've been on that had losing records would get caught up in. And the feedback from some of the older guys that have been through the same experiences were the exact same is yeah, we have to act like we're a good team even when things are going south, and we just have to keep our heads up.
How do you feel you just with all your experience in professional baseball, including this season, just have just caused you to be a leader in the Glow Moji clubhouse and in the Glow Moji dugout?
Experience allows you to navigate situations when things start to go south. For the most part, you've been in that situation before, and you've handled it wrong. And learning from handling it wrong allows you to handle it right the next time. And so, let's from a pitcher standpoint, you get a runner on third with no outs. Well, the older self might have tried too hard, and the next thing you know, you walk a guy, and now you're in all sorts of trouble. And it takes that experience to learn, okay, I need to relax in this situation, I need to do this or that. And so just relying on the experience and the experiences I've had to maybe not react. And in Cosmic, you can lose a fan challenge, and I've seen a lot of guys blow up when we lose a fan challenge, get all upset, or maybe Santa squeezes or something. And if you look at some of the older guys, and Ray, and someone that comes to mind is Mauricio, like how he handles situations where he's just as upset, but at the end of the day, just brush it off. You got to keep playing the game. And that's from that situation happening so many times that we eventually learned that you can't ride the roller coaster. You can't go up and down. You got to stay neutral.
I love how you do use the example of Alex Mauricio, who is a chili pepper, as someone who is able to stay calm in those situations. Not saying that you're wrong. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to suggest there isn't a you guys aren't friends or anything, but just things are just on the field, just the way you are still able to respect him. It just shows a lot about just your character as just player and leader of the Glow Mojis.
Yeah, you have to respect his career. You have to respect what he's done, and the way he goes about his business. It definitely shows that he's a leader without even trying.
Absolutely. A couple more questions for you, Neil, before I let you go. And these are ones that I ask every guest who comes on Cosmic Confessions. What's
Okay.
the best advice that you've ever received?
In life or pitching?
It's anything, dude. Life,
Oh
pitching,
man.
baseball, wherever you want.
And
You get to
for
answer
for
this question however you want to see fit.
best advice, it was just the series of people telling me to chase my dream when I was younger. And funny, it was this my original dream. No, Cosmic didn't even exist when I was growing up. But it's just it's funny that if you chase something, and if you give everything to it, eventually you'll get it back in some ways. So yeah, best advice is if you do have a dream, shoot for the stars, chase it, because even if it doesn't work out, it still will work out in a different way.
And finally, Neil, I do want to ask you, just we're coming on, a couple of really exciting second half of the tour here, which is already crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to say to any fans who are coming to games this summer or are thinking about seeing us play this summer? What do you have to say to them? What's your message to all the Cosmic fans out there?
Come on, it's a great time. Bring your family. I mean, it's such a fun family night. And when parents are their kids happy, and when I see kids running around smiling here at 11 p.m. not wanting to leave, and you get to see the parents' face of feeling like we made a great decision coming to this game tonight. That's a rewarding feeling for me, but from a fan's point of view. If you're looking for a great family event this summer, come to a Cosmic game.
There you go. You heard it from Neil Lang himself right there of why you should come to a Cosmic game. And Neil, one more question I do want to throw in here actually, besides this upcoming weekend in Buffalo, as well as the California stops, are there any other stops on the tour that you're really looking forward to that we have left?
Yeah, obviously, Sacramento and Fresno. But I'm really excited for St. Paul because St. Paul was known in Indy ball as being the most electric place to play. And then they switched to being a part of affiliate ball in the minor leagues. And they kind of had the same, it's just they sell out their games and it's a party on their own. So if those same people show up, that's going to be an electric atmosphere. So, St. Paul, the 2 California stops, those are probably the big 3 I'm looking forward to.
And that's going to do it for us here with Glow Mojis left-handed pitcher, Neil Lang. Neil, thanks for joining me here today on Cosmic Confessions.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Crash.
And that's going to do it for us here on Cosmic Confessions. Big thanks again to Neil Lang. Be sure to follow him on Instagram at neil.lang_. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll see you all next week in a brand new episode of Cosmic Confessions.